Hi guys, yes, Sir Coach Valerio, the owner of Malta Sail School. Today at the podcast we have Liam. Thank you, Liam. Liam is a local surfer, super cool guys. I love your vibes, always in the water. It's one of the first guys that helped me at Malta Sail School when I started with 2-3 board. Remember? You see the change?
4 years ago.
4 years ago? Even more? I think so. You and Joe?
Me and Joe.
Yes,
Joe was the reason for me to start surfing. Actually.
Yeah,
Joe? One of the reasons, because when I met him, he got me a lot interested into surfing. I met him in the water whilst stand-up surfing.
Okay. So this one was actually the first question I was going to do. When you started surfing and why? And if somebody inspired you to start surfing?
So I always liked surfing, but I used to windsurf from when I was 10 years old, and I always thought that the conditions in Malta were not really very good for surfing. I remember hearing of people actually surfing in Riviera.
Okay.
But I never thought that I would be able to do that myself, because it was kind of something that happens once in every blue moon, you know. But when I was one time stand-up paddle surfing at Riviera, I met Joe. There was Joe and I think Matthew Tanti at the time. I think it could be as well in the water.
Okay.
And, but I connected a lot with Joe. I remember I remember speaking to him after, and then we also connected later through a group of friends, him being a photographer as well, so we connected also in other ways, and he convinced me to go surfing. I remember one New Year's Eve, he had his board and we were in Gozo celebrating New Year's Eve, and he wanted to surf Ramla, and we tried to go down. It was really messy and rough, and we didn't actually manage to surf. But from then onwards, I started looking for a board, and that's...
So, and you remember the... first of all, I want to say thank you to Joe, because as well, Joe always helps us. He's an amazing guy, super cool and chill.
I remember always saying, there's Valerio, he'll help you, you know, you can take a lesson. And...
Joe was my first student here in Malta. And it was amazing. I think so I changed his life, his lifestyle. And now he's in Portugal, and it's fantastic guys, fantastic vibes. So, ciao Joe, if you watch us. What I was saying, so after that experience that you have with Joe, you remember your first waves?
Yes, when I bought my board, which was about 6 years ago, I remember I bought a Bic. It was a nose rider.
Okay.
I didn't buy it on purpose like that. I just found this one was on a good price. And when I caught my first wave with Joe in Golden Bay, I remember you were there as well on that day. I still remember the feeling of you know, catching a wave with a surfboard, not with a stand-up paddle, because I had the experience. And immediately when you stand up the first time, you just get a rush, and it's like, I need more of this. It has to happen again, you know.
Fantastic.
And then, as I progressed more, you know, you start to understand. Then there is always sort of that moment in your life, I think, as a surfer, that you catch a wave which gives you that extra rush, you know, especially if it's a bigger wave.
So you're coming from windsurfing. So I know you used to do a lot of windsurfing. And you know, here in Malta there is a misconception, let's say, surfing, windsurfing. You know, if you want to give a message to some Maltese friends that follow us.
Misconception or like a bit of rivalry? Sometimes.
No rivalry. I say mostly, I think so mostly was more when we were young, there was this rivalry, windsurfer, surfer. You think it's still
I mean, it also happens a bit between kite surfers and windsurfers for some reason.
Okay.
I find, I used to see. But I don't understand it that much, because for me we're sharing the water, you know, whether it's a stand-up paddle, a windsurfer, a kite surfer, you know, it's I don't see why there should be this rivalry. But what I remember always observing is the fact that if you windsurf, people don't consider you as a surfer, kind of thing. Because you're a different kind of surfer.
Okay.
So,
So
surfing always interested me, but I never actually got down to doing it because, first of all, there wasn't many board shops at the time as well.
Yeah.
And also, I remember trying to surf one time on my windsurf board, actually, which is something that I discovered that even Eddie had done.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Grande Eddie Gallia.
Eddie Gallia.
I don't like to call it, no, he doesn't like that I call it legend of surfing, but he's a veteran. That's why he likes.
He is a veteran.
It's one of the first surfer that hopefully soon I'm going to have at the podcast.
I remember him always being the noisiest one at the bay. always really happy, always shouting.
Yes, yes. He's the cool guys that in the water make like noise of like a tsunami alarm.
A sirena. Yeah.
Super good vibes. Now it's hard to see him in the water.
I do see him sometimes.
Sometimes. But you mentioned that he started with the windsurfing. You know, I never windsurf actually, but one of the first boyfriend of my sister, because we used to have an house on front the sea, and you know, I'm 10 years younger than my sister, and this guy, I was seeing him like an hero. I said, oh wow, this guy's surfing, cool. And one day I tell him, can you let me try? And he got like an abandoned windsurf on the beach. And he pushed me on this, just on the board. And me, I ride the waves and I was, wow, this is fantastic. And then he told me, like kind of guide me, Vale, you need a big board to have more fun, to start, because now you cannot come on the back with us, you still don't have the experience. So,
and where was it?
This somewhere in Rome, on the north coast of Rome. And then the explosion of this passion, and I started, and I got the first board around 8 years old. No, 9 or 10, 8, 9, 10, the frame.
Nice.
And what was your first board?
My first board was a 7.6 mini nose rider.
So, this is a message.
If you don't count the SUP. Because,
okay.
I mean, the SUP was a surfboard in a way, but yeah.
But a message that I want to always pass to all the beginners, to all the people that see us, because yes, the shortboard is good. And I already had some friends, Maltese and non, that they're coming at this bay with a shortboard and tell me, Vale, I want to start surfing, I bought this one. Just because it fit in my car.
You can, but you're trying to learn to run before you know how to walk. So
exactly. So step by step.
The curve is going to be much longer, you know. You're going to spend so much time in the water not doing anything, and you might get disheartened if you start with a short board. So it's always better to start with a long board. And, I mean, this is something that I remember my father taught me windsurfing.
Okay.
And at 10 years old, I want to buy a short board as well for windsurfing, because windsurfing there is a short board as well. It's like, you know, like start with the long board and then go to the short board, you know, because like that you'll learn faster. And it was true, because...
And the board as well is more forgiving, like surfing or no?
It's the same.
Okay.
It's bigger, more volume, more forgiving. So if the wind stops, which happens in windsurfing, you know, you still float. With the short board, it just goes down in the water. So you know, it's always good for any sport. You know, you can't just expect to go pro level immediately. So it's like right now I'm learning surf skate as well. You can't just, you know, expect that you're gonna go in the bowl and just do tricks already. You know, you have to start slowly and
baby step.
And then exactly.
Well, there is a surfer that like it's your inspiration or your hero.
Yes, I mean I'm inspired by a lot of surfers of the 70s mostly, like Mike Richards, like that style of doing a soul curve the wave,
yeah,
and using a single fin, retro style surfing. I'm most interested in the retro style surfing.
Okay.
Both longboard and even with a fish or with a single fin, but I'm really in love with the old style of surfing, where the surfing style is more soulful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that the modern surfing is not, but there's a difference. I see
different.
When you see someone, you know, doing snappy turns and fast turns. For me, I'm more in love with that long curve and you know the more sort of straight stance, which I I find difficulty sometimes on a shortboard not to use, but. And I recently discovered Felipe Seixas. I think he's Portuguese. I discovered him through Wave Gliders in Portugal, a shop that I recently also visited. They make some amazing retro surfboards. And
You looking to buy one?
yes, I mean, but to bring to Malta, it's a bit tricky. So for now, I'm more going to focus to build my own.
Okay, wow, that's super cool.
I have been wanting to do this for a long time, but now I'm going to literally get down to do it.
Very
because,
good.
I have some more time also.
We speak about it, and you have all my support. It's not easy, but it's
not easy.
That's gonna be super fun. And then when you have the board that you make.
Exactly. That's the satisfaction to have, you know, you're surfing your own art basically. So.
Yeah.
Which is for me something.
Me, I see you mostly with the longboard. What you gonna do mostly now? What you would like to shape more? Because I see you even with the fish.
I want to shape a mid-length, but small to mid, basically, but single fin. And
Fantastic.
I'm not sure whether it will be a pintail or like or a small fishtail, but I have to decide. But I know it's going to be a single fin for sure, because I love the feel of a single fin. In fact, that's why I use the longboard a lot of times. I'm using the fish more now, though. As well, like we were in Bayar.
Yes. So you start to get in the.
I'm starting to get a bit into the shortboard, but still remaining with my style of longboard.
Yes. You have your roots.
Exactly,
It's good. It's good to respect it. Listen, here in Malta, because now you mentioned Bayar, what is your favorite surf spot?
Okay, it's a difficult question because Riviera is my favorite surf, spot on the island, because it has a special energy for me. Also because it's related to music, to meeting most of the people that I am fond of in Malta. I met them actually at Riviera. So
you want to mention because you are a musician.
For starters, my band basically. I met Peter Paul, for example, the first time there. Joe, I met in Riviera. You know, a lot of people. You,
exactly.
The first time I met you was in Riviera as well. So that's a very special bay for me. But for me, the best wave is San Tomas.
Yeah.
Because it's a very, very long left. Even though I'm regular.
You like backhand?
But I like backhand actually.
It's a long wave.
It's a very, very long wave. I remember one session before Joe left to Portugal where we were doing all sorts of things, you know, like grabbing each other's hand, grabbing the board, you know, like doing everything. Because it lets you, like, when it's a good condition, when it's offshore as well, a bit offshore, not like the one we had 2 weeks ago. It's a really long wave. It's the longest wave I have on the island. So
I know, and the color of the water.
And the color, yeah.
I think so. When the right sun, Faitata and San Tomas, it's like turquoise. It's magic. It's beautiful.
And it feels a lot. It is. I mean, it's a proper point break. You know,
yeah.
Beach breaks are not very good for longboard. So because more often than not you get a short ride. But over there, it gets really long sometimes.
Good one. It's a very good way. I love it. Now, I will say about the spot and that we have travel. You travel for surfing?
Yes, I surfed whilst traveling for other reasons. I surfed Mexico, Guatemala. Guatemala, well, I didn't actually surf, if I have to be completely honest, because the conditions were too difficult for my level at the time.
Okay.
I surfed El Paredon.
Just the name, Paredon?
El Paredon, yeah. Well, I didn't know what it meant exactly, but when I started, I was learning Spanish at the time, and I realized it meant big wall. I realized very quickly that when you paddle out, when the currents were extremely strong, like 4 or 5 times as strong as they are in a riviera on a big day. Then you just see this big wall come, you know, and you just have to pray that you managed to get through. And I never actually managed to get out in this particular day.
Understand.
But Mexico, I had one of my worst life wipeouts. One of those wipeouts where you get out of the water and you say, oh man, I'm not going to surf again. But then you have to get over that because
yeah.
I remember watching Catch Every Wave, I think it's called, of what's his name? He's a windsurfer,
Laird Hamilton.
Laird Hamilton.
Yeah.
He mentions that there were surfers that had a really bad wipeout and a really big wave,
yeah.
and they stopped surfing forever because it can get to you. So we have to really mentally prepare yourself for even experiences which are bad. But sometimes after the worst wipeouts, you get then the best waves.
Yes. So Laird Hamilton, it's fantastic. I think so.
It's a really good movie. If you guys haven't watched it, watch it because it's a really good movie. I found it.
What's the name again?
Catch Every Wave. I think.
Catch Every Wave.
I think Catch Every Wave, or Take Every Wave, something like that. But it's really interesting because there's also a long story about how they discovered jaws, how they discovered toe surfing. He was the inventor of the foil.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting.
I need to watch because one of my heroes, Laird Hamilton, since I'm young as well.
It's impressive how much footage he has from when he was young. His family used to take a lot of footage because there is a lot of footage of him starting from very, very young till.
Wow. I don't know if you saw, at one point they did a sort of foiling, but you need to be seated. They have this kind of board, but you can be seated. And then at the time, because now you mentioned the footage, recently I watched a documentary of Kyle Lenny. And when they was starting to foiling, there was even a special name. There wasn't foil of this special board sitting. Now I even don't remember, but they was sitting on it. And then there was the actual foil that was making.
You're talking about the knee board? Not a knee board, maybe, because a knee board is something
I know,
of the 70s. It was used. It's a very retro style.
I don't remember, but for sure I will find out again.
It has it's a board which has kind of the nose and the sides only, and then the middle is a really thin, biscuit thin
Possible, yes, possible.
It could be that they tried doing a foil with that as well. I don't know, but yeah, it's really interesting to see how someone can get an idea and kind of reinvent the wheel, because basically that's what he did,
Yeah.
But by reinventing the wheel, by adding footstraps from windsurfing on the board, for example, they were able to surf waves like Jaws and then Nazare.
Yeah.
And, there would have
to
never
be on
been
the board, to have the grip.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Or to be towed with the jet ski, because otherwise the only other way was to paddle out, but paddling out in Jaws and paddling out in Nazare is
crazy.
It's already you have to have a big pair of, to be able to surf that wave. So
now, you say after a big wipeout, the big wipeout can be even a bad session. You have a bad session or a bad experience. What keep you motivated? Because us, I think so, we are all big crazy the Mediterranean surfer, no?
We are, yeah.
Not for the size of the waves, because we don't have those gigantic waves, but mostly for the consistency.
We're thirsty, mostly,
Thirsty,
I would say.
yes.
We're thirsty for waves, so sometimes we can go down in places which are maybe dangerous, which are which conditions which are a bit too rough, where there's strong current, But I think what you were going to ask is kind of what keeps you going.
What keeps you going? Because we need to be stubborn to surf on winter, cold water, rough conditions.
Determination
on shore
is the most important thing. I think you have to be really determined to. It comes from the addiction to the wave, because you are addicted to that feeling of the wave, of going down on the face. For me, that's when I close my eyes and I want to put myself in a really nice place. I think of just the image of seeing the face of the wave and you just going down on the face of the wave. When you just think about that, you start to feel that need to go into the water. So when you have a really bad wipeout, even if you use it as an analogy, in life. It can be a wipeout in any situation. That is your opportunity to actually get out even stronger, you know, and stand up even stronger and actually catch an even better wave than you did last time, you know. So, and it pushes you to improve, to go abroad, to travel, to surf different waves. So.
A dream waves or a dream trip that you would love to do?
Yes, I would really want to. I want to go to Indonesia, especially after seeing Kalipte. That's a place. I remember seeing pictures of Jacob surfing there.
Wow.
But after seeing that movie, it's very inspiring. But the trip I want to do also a lot is to actually get to Puerto Chicama. Because during COVID, I was traveling in Peru and I was very close, 1.5 hours away to Puerto Chicama, but then COVID hit, so I had to come back home.
Oh.
So I never actually managed to get to Puerto Chicama, but it's the longest left wave of the world and I really want to experience it. So that is one of the dreams.
Beautiful dreams.
Then there are other places, there's Hawaii, there's this.
But that one is the one.
But that one, because I got so close to it, you know, so I didn't experience it. And recently I experienced also a wave which I had always dreamt of going to Morocco, and I experienced that as well, so that was a beautiful thing. So
Imsuan, no?
Imsuan was one of them. I said different places, but Imsuan was the best. Imsuan was an amazing experience.
All right, very good. Now we talk about everything, you know, travel, where you come from, and the roots of the surfing in Malta, no? We mentioned Eddie, Joe. Now, the community that you see now, how you will describe the Malta surf community?
It's a family. That's what I would say for sure. That it's a big family. Everyone respects each other. Everyone wants everyone else to improve. Sometimes, obviously, ego gets a bit in the way, and we tend to, you know, drop in on each other and this and that. But we all mean good. Yeah. I feel, and the community is really nice. There's also the element of we're not only Maltese people, and see there's more foreigners than Maltese, but there's a big mix of cultures, countries, and I always enjoy the fact that you're always learning different bits and pieces from every kind of surfer and every level of surfer. So, and I think this is something that in every sport or every art, music, you can always learn from even a beginner. If you're like open to it, you know, you can always learn something new about, you know, somewhere that they might have surfed or somewhere something that they might have done. So, but yeah, I love the community here in Malta. It's one of the most beautiful things about surfing in general.
That's true.
Especially here in Malta.
It's amazing. I mean, I surf many places. The room is not like this. There is more competition. Actually, yeah, that we start to do some fun competition. Now the association is gonna make an amazing competition. I hope so, because I'm always speaking with the older surfer. One is 20, one is Carl and Matthew. They always tell me there is a till line till then, because it's not easy that then everybody stay as a friends, because when there is a competition now, your friends that compete against you.
That's why sometimes, that's why I said sometimes ego gets in the way. Because yes, competition is really, you want to show everyone that you're the best, really and truly, which is can be a bit, you know, it can be a bit bad for being friendly with other people. But if you're a true sportsman and you respect, you know, the fact that if someone is surfing better than you, you accept that, you know, that there shouldn't be any rivalry. You see some of the toughest boxing matches where they're beating each other up, and then at the end of the match they hug each other, you know. And that's, I think, the epitome of true sportsmanship.
Yes.
You know, that there is always respect, great respect for the other surfer, and at the end of the day, you're competing because for the passion of the sport and for the good of the sport, not you know, to show that you're the strongest person. You know,
yeah. Understand. I think so. It's gonna be good.
I think so too.
You competing?
Maybe it depends if my back muscle accepts to surf.
Not the same.
Yeah. So, but it's nothing. It's just pulled muscle basically, and I was becoming a bit lazy to do the exercises that the physio gave me.
So you feel it again. Understand. So surf skating instead.
Yeah.
Now you're starting, or you approach it already for a while, or now you get more into?
No, literally my first time in the bowl was last week, last Sunday, and it was nice, a bit scary because I didn't have any protection, and I had like really a couple of close calls, but then I went the second time with Bray. And there was also Lola, and I surfed a bit, but this time I was wearing protection.
Good.
And and eventually I actually did have quite a big slam, and thank God I had the protection. But it also was there was a lot of dew, so it was getting slippery. But yeah.
So you think the surf skate?
Surf skate helps a lot.
Good. That's the message that I want to pass.
Yeah, helps a lot for practicing, mostly for feeling the being able to pump and feeling the effect of surfing a wave as well, especially if you do the bowl and you start to get a certain flow.
Yeah,
it's different from surfing from skating flatland. That's much easier, but at the same time still there is a technique to do it properly, but in the bowl it's a whole different experience. You need to really
find
the line and understand how the movement of the body has to be, how you have to kind of lead with your shoulder and compress a lot, which I find difficult because I tend to want to stay straight all the time. And there are people that can do that, but you can't start straight. You have to start low and then progress and start.
Always the same, step by step, and then you go neck to.
So yeah, that's a nice experience.
Give me a reflection. Why not many Maltese ever surf, and they think that in Malta it's not possible to surf?
I think
it's an island.
Yeah, I think most Maltese people don't. They lack the determination to go for a sport where you can be let down so many times, and you can also you maybe can't practice it whenever you want to. So I mean, many Maltese people prefer to ride a bike or you know, have a jet ski or maybe windsurf, because there's more often good wind days than days where there's good waves. Yeah. In fact, the most answer I get from people that I mentioned why I surf, they say, there are waves here, you know, like because there is not a lot of awareness, but it's also, I think, because of the culture of Maltese people is that, you know, you do sports which are more like football, you know, bike, running, which is nothing. There's nothing bad, you know.
No, nothing bad.
It's,
even in Italy,
it's a sport that you can do whenever you like. You can train whenever you like. With surfing, you have to be really, you know, prepared to try to get 2 hours of work to go and catch a nice surf. Wake up early in the morning. So you know what I mean.
Exactly.
So I think we lack, as a Maltese population, a lot of us lack that determination to, you know, get into a wetsuit when it's really cold, and so maybe that's what.
Thank you. Very good. So now, if you guys watching us, you will aware that when you're coming in Malta, and if you're coming surfing with us, with Malta Surf School, or if you have your own board, if you paddle out and you see Liam, go to say hi, super cool guys, very always good vibes and always has fantastic character. I guess I like to speak with you, bro, a lot.
Likewise, man.
Anzi, thank you to be here today.
My pleasure.
I really enjoy it.
My pleasure.
And I want to ask you last things. If you want to give a tips to somebody that come to surfing over here and or a new surfer.
Okay, I think the most important thing is to remain determined, and even if you get wiped out and you don't catch the wave that you want to catch, you have to keep trying, because eventually you will catch that wave and you will say yes. This was the reason why I was you know, like not managing to, but it was worth it in the end, because it is always worth it in the end to keep the determination and keep paddling and keep trying to catch that wave, because it's part of the learning curve, part of the fun as well.
Part of the fun,
to swallow water, to get hit with a board on your head, to you know, all sorts of things. But eventually, when you catch that wave, you will know. You will say, "Ah, this was worth it."
All right. So thank you, Liam, for today that you was here at the podcast. Thank you guys that you follow us and stay tuned for the future one. Aloha, you!